Hello and welcome to another video from Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that's now quite old, has become incredibly collectible, and is becoming increasingly more difficult to find these days, pretty much in any condition. We are looking at the 1975 release by Laramie from their series of TV tie-in novelty toys. And this particular item we're looking at today is of the Space 1999 utility pocket penknife. Now, although this item never appeared in Space 1999, it is based and themed on the classic television series, which was basically a British science fiction TV program. It ran for 2 seasons from 1975 through to 1977. And it was in the year 1999, hence the title, Space 1999, where nuclear waste was being stored on the moon's far side, and that explodes due to radiation, which knocks the moon out of orbit and sending it and the 311 inhabitants of Moonbase Alpha hurtling uncontrollably into space. Now, this first season marked the end of the partnership between Gerry and Sylvia Anderson. And at the time, it was the most expensive British television series ever produced, with a combined budget of £6.8 million for season 1 and season 2. Now, season 1 was co-produced by ITC Entertainment and the Italian broadcaster RAI, or RAI. While the second series was produced solely by ITC Entertainment Group. 2 series were produced, each comprising of 24 episodes. Production of the first series was from November 73 to February 1975, and production of the second season was from Jan 76 to December 76. Now, Space 1999 centres on the plight of the inhabitants of Moonbase Alpha, which was a scientific research centre, which was located within the crater Plato in the moon's northern hemisphere. Now, humanity had been storing its nuclear waste in vast disposable sites on the far side of the moon. But then there was this unknown form of magnetic radiation, which the accumulated waste reaches critical mass, and it caused a massive thermonuclear explosion on September the 13th, 1999. So the force of the blast propels the moon like an enormous booster rocket, hurtling out of the Earth's orbit and into deep space at colossal speed, thus stranding the 311 personnel who were stationed on Moonbase Alpha. So the runway moon, in effect, becomes the spacecraft on which the inhabitants travel, where they are searching for a new home. And not long after leaving Earth's solar system, the wandering moon passes through a black hole, and later through a couple of space warps, which pushes it even further out into the universe. During this interstellar journey, the inhabitants of Moonbase Alpha encounter an array of different alien civilizations, societies, and different phenomenons, which really goes on to serve the whole purpose of Space 1999, where they encounter all these different life forms and so on, and they are actually looking for a place to inhabit as a new Earth, if you like. So the series ran for 2 seasons. It was from 1975 through to 1977, the airing. A total of 48 episodes were produced. £6.8 million was the budget, 2.8 million for season 1 and 4 million for season 2. Now, that might surprise you, but of course for the season 2 there was a lot of US influence, obviously bigger costs were incurred, new sets had to be built, and of course you had all these special effects and the rays and so on, which would have eaten into the budget quite dramatically. But it's surprising, really, when certainly in my opinion, because I think season 1 was far superior to season 2. But there we are, that's my opinion. Anyway, I'm not going to rattle on any more about that. Let's have a look at this item we're here to look at today. And this in front of us is the Space 1999 pocket utility penknife. Now, it is all made in plastic. It is a child's toy. It's not an actual metal knife or a utility set. It is literally plastic. It is a plaything, but it is absolutely brilliant in comparison to the actual real metal ones. So what do we got? So we've got a fork. The fork comes out, it just opens up, and you see the little slot there, which is where the handle goes in. So you can, and I mean, they do work. You can actually use them if you wanted to. On the other side, you've got the spoon. As the spoon comes out again, and you can munch away and eat your food with the spoon. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit more so you can see everything that I'm doing here. Okay, so we got the spoon and the fork. Now, somewhere in there also is the knife. There's the knife there, so that's for cutting your food. So we've got the knife, fork and spoon, which are your cutlery utilities, if you like. Again, let me just angle the camera up a little bit so that we don't cut anything off. Okay, so knife, fork and spoon. And then over the other side, we've got the little saw. So if you needed to saw anything down out in the wilderness, you're quite able to do that with the saw. Although it's quite blunt, it's certainly not sharp. You've got a bottle opener there with 2 rungs. So if you can open your bottle of beer or your bottle of drinks or what have you. We've also got a pair of scissors. There we go. So you can cut your nails or cut whatever you need to cut. And of course, then we've got the little pen knife, which is that last little blade there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 utensils on this little set. You've also got that little keyring there, so you can attach it to your belt or to your keyring. Just clip it on so it's with you all the time. Okay, so let's have a size with the whole thing open. So from end to end, we're looking at 21 centimeters. If I measure just the thickness of the actual handle there, so we're looking at 2 centimeters. And if we go to the end of the spoon and to the fork, then we're at about 5 centimeters. So that adds about 3 centimeters to the thickness. I suppose if we hold them up in the air, we could measure the depth like that. So again, you'll be looking at about 6 centimeters. You can just see that. Sorry, not 6 centimeters, 8 centimeters. So that gives you an idea of the size, and I will just measure that large knife blade from the end to the tip, which is about 6 centimeters. So you got an idea of what the size of that is. And altogether, it all folds down quite nicely. So back in all your pieces will slot. It doesn't really matter in which order you close them up, because they all will still go into position. The spoon there, and then the fork on this side. Okay, and there we are. So all closed up. We're looking, if we measure from the end of the ring, we're looking at about 10.5 centimeters. And if we measure height wise there, we're looking at 4 centimeters. And overall width there, I suppose, is about 2, maybe 3 centimeters, with everything poking out of this side. Okay, that is the Space 1999 utility keyring knife set, if you like, which, as I say, was released in 1975 by Laramie as part of their series of well, budget toys, I should say. Budget TV tie-in sort of toys, I think they called them. But it is the survival utility pack, and every Space 1999 member should have been with one back in the day. But there we go. Okay, now, you're going to ask me how well these did back in 1975. Well, yeah, I'm guessing that they done quite well. I mean, a lot of people would have known that their parents have these metal ones, maybe in their fishing or their hunting kits, and they go out and they take them with them when they go on those trips and what have you. So it was an ideal toy for a child to have, and obviously themed on the very, very popular Space 1999 television series. So yeah, I'm sure they've done rather well, and they were budget toys, what I call budget toys, cheap toys. I think they were under $1 or under £1 originally when they first come out. Obviously you wouldn't get them anywhere near that these days, but that was the price when they first come out. I mean, it's very well made for the cost of it. In actual fact, I think it's terrific, considering how cheap they were back in the day. But generally, yeah, it is although it's themed on Space 1999, you never actually saw anything like this in the TV series. But even so, I'm sure they sold a good quantity of these. Budget toys were produced in big volumes, so they would have been sold, used, played with, thrown away, broken, what have you. So yeah, but I'm sure they've done well at the time. Okay, so let's move forward 50 years to 2025, which is where we are today. Do these appear on the platforms very often these days? And the answer to that, quite simply, is no. I did have a look on the platforms, and I found only one other of these. Now, the other one I found was still sealed in the packaging, and that was up for a considerable amount of money. And it wasn't in the UK, it was in the US, but it was up for an awful lot of money. So, but that was the only other one I found. I did go back 4 or 5 years, and that was just it. So it was only this one that we've got now, and that one that was on the platform. There was a colossal amount of money for a brand new sealed one. So no, they don't come up for sale very often. When they do, if they come up as new, you're going to be paying through the nose. But it might be your only option because they're so rare and difficult to find these days. And not to mention, obviously, if you are buying on a platform, remember that somebody's idea of very good condition could be somebody else's idea of acceptable condition. There's a big scope of differences there from people's opinions, so do bear that in mind. Read the description and look at the images if you are going to buy on a platform. And don't forget also, some of the platforms use stock images and stock photographs and stock descriptions. So if it doesn't say new on the page and it says used, click the used link and read what you're about to order, because if there's no new available, they automatically go to the cheapest used item, and that might not be what you're looking for, and it certainly won't be what you think you're ordering, which you think you're going to be ordering what's on the main page. But if it's stock images and stock descriptions, that is not what you're going to get. So do be careful. If it says used, click it, read what you're about to order, so there's no disappointment and arguments afterwards. And it's not the fault of the buyer, and it's not the fault of the seller. It's quite simply just the way the platforms work, and which, quite frankly, I think is ridiculous, but that's the way they were designed. But nevertheless, so do be careful on those platforms. Now, you don't have to go for any of that rigmarole. You can come straight to us at Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles, where what you see in front of you is exactly the item you will receive should you wish to purchase it. And this item is no different to that. But we do only have the one of these. Now, this is part of a gentleman's collection who have been collecting Space 1999 merchandise since the 1970s. And he used to regularly attend a lot of the Space 1999 conventions, where a lot of the items that he collected came from the conventions. And this particular item was one of them that he bought at a convention. But sadly, he's decided that he's retired now, and decided that he needed to cash in on his collection. So he asked us if we would be interested in buying out the collection, and we did. We bought out pretty much all of it. And we are now going through it, making those items available to our customers on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many, many other vintage Gerry Anderson items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. And there will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive that that is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there is something in particular you're looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky that you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories. Well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful vintage Space 1999 survival utility penknife set with me. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next video. So bye for now.